1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on episode 61, and I don't have anything else to say about that. Blue.
Just passing it straight up to me. Right?
Yeah,
yes,
well,
so.
this morning we let's actually hold on. That's true. Let's go over the podcast in general. We got some topics. Blue says he's got some very nerdy things to talk about in the first segment. Segment 2, we did have movie night, and we watched Coco, the animated Disney movie about Day of the Dead. What?
I said, what a film.
It was an amazing film. Yeah, I think that one, all of us just universally liked it. And then, segment 3, I understand you have something special prepared. He's waving his hands excitedly, so...
That's jazz hands, man. Waving. Freaking lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... 5 topics. I'm going to buzz through a few of them, but the first one, quite an important one. I don't know if you've heard about this. You probably have. But if you haven't, mind-blowing, alright? Okay. There is a trailer out right now for a new animated production on Netflix for League of Legends.
Oh, fuck off!
You didn't know about this? Fuck yes. Yep, I'm not kidding.
Why?
There's a trailer out already. There's like 5 of the League of Legends characters are in it. Jinx I definitely recognised from it, because everyone knows Jinx. And it looks like the same kind of stuff. You know, obviously, get the music video Jinxed, right?
Yeah, I love that. I used to play it on loop, because I used to play her for a while after she came out.
Yeah, and also Legends Never Die.
Yep, that one became a meme.
Very, very similar art styles to those two, so I'm wondering if they got the actual artists from that. Or maybe it was the same artist, I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, I think they have the same... They have like an in-house animation department now for those cutscenes and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that could be it then. But yeah, like, the art looks pretty nice for it. It's just whether the story is actually going to hold up or not. I'm sure someone in the Hive is going to watch it, whether it's us or Scott. Someone will have watched it and will judge it very severely, I feel like.
I might watch it. I don't really play the game anymore.
No.
But
that's because it's stressful as fuck. Watching an anime won't be.
Well, the thing is, like, I got really into doing, like, the ranked mode on it, and as a result, like, it just... I don't know, that can get very stressful. And like we've talked about before, about game length, I don't know if this was the last podcast or the one before, we talked about competitive games going too long, like CSGO, and League was the example I used. They can go on way too long, and they do get very, very stressful.
Quick timeout.
Yeah.
I just realised I'm on my speaker, not my headphones. Do you want me to switch?
Doesn't really matter to me.
Okay, because stuff might be coming back through the mic as well. That's fine.
If it does, I can fix it in post.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be called Arcane.
Okay.
Which is kind of a bit of a boring name, but at the same time, I can't think of any other actual cartoons or films called that. So maybe, I don't know. I feel like that they could have come up with a better name. Just League of Legends would have been better.
Riot is pumping out like so much content like that lately. Like they're throwing out. They did the card game Legends of Runeterra, which is like a Hearthstone Magic the Gathering kind of knockoff. They did Valorant, which isn't League of Legends, but it's their. It's similar in art style, and it was their CS:GO.
I didn't really think anyone's playing that anymore. It's certainly not on the actually, I say that. Yumi was on it like yesterday.
Okay. So it's still something, but it's not as big, at least with us, but I imagine there's still quite a few people playing it. And now they're doing animation and stuff. They're trying to really expand the brand outside of just the MOBA.
Yeah.
Like, they got big with the MOBA, and now they're diversifying.
Speaking of another big company that's around at the moment, Diablo 2 came out earlier this week.
Oh yeah, Diablo 2 Remastered. Yeah, I haven't... I did end up buying the game. Like, I pre-ordered it so I could play the early bit of it, and I did that little video on it, but I haven't actually.
40-year-old nerds everywhere are going off their nut to play it. Sorry, 30-year-old.
It's true. Yeah, it's not that old a game.
But yeah, lots of people playing it. Lots of bugs, lots of crashes.
Yeah,
Scott was furious.
That's what I was hearing from. Yeah, because Scott got it, Nas got it, a bunch of people in the Hive got it, and
Yeah,
like I said,
Nick.
yeah, I haven't played it yet, but that's what I kept seeing. Like, just they were all hyped to play it one day, and then the next day no one was on it. It's like, oh, gotta fix all the bugs.
Well, I mean, ironically, it was the other way around with Scott. Scott was like waiting all day when it came out for it to actually be playable, and it wasn't. So the next day he started. But apparently there's some pretty so one of the bugs I heard about, not from Scott, but if you made an online character and then made an offline character with the same name, they would delete each other. Apparently, so that's gonna be pretty gutting if you're going for a world first.
Yeah. Oh man.
Although if you're going for a world first, you're not going to make an offline character because you haven't got time, I suppose. But
maybe you wanted to make an offline character to dick around a little bit.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
So that pretty bad. Yeah. Servers have been crashing a lot. Speaking of servers crashing, holy crap! Final Fantasy. Were you in the call last night?
For a little bit, yeah. We got. I wasn't. Technically, it was this morning for you. I got home a little after 8 from Jesse's, so. And yeah, we were cruising around and doing quests, but that wasn't what. I don't remember there being any server issues.
It was later than that. So I was in some trials, right? So boss fights. Sorry, this is going away from news and more into just personal story. But
Go for it.
It was so good. We were doing a trial, and suddenly the whole of Europe Final Fantasy crashed. Just the whole of Europe went down. And so we all reconnected. We got back into the boss fight, and the boss timer had kept going while we were gone.
That's annoying.
Yes, so there was 8 minutes left to beat this boss. When we'd started with an hour, and we'd lost 10 minutes or something from the crash. And so we were just fucked. Anyway, so we went to another trial after that, and halfway through it, in fact, 3/4 of the way through, we'd almost beaten the boss, and 5 of the 8 people disconnected at once. I, surprisingly, considering how I am with connections in any game, stayed in. And so we were all just... The 3 of us that were left, we were just chatting to each other while we waited for the others to leave. Then one of us started dancing, and suddenly we were all dancing. We were fighting the boss that we were fighting was a whale. And so one of them was like, I've got a great idea. When they reconnect, we all need to shout, "Whale, come back." And so people were trickling back in, and it was some weird little cult, I meant to say, I'm sorry.
One might argue you were being
Might have
a
to
cunt.
bleep that, I don't know. That was a Schadenfreude, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Schadenfreude.
So yeah, we were all just doing these weird dances and screaming "whale come at" people when they rejoined. And fuck, it was one of those things where by the time everyone had joined, everyone was just in fits of fucking laughter. We didn't give a shit about the boss anymore.
No.
It was such a great experience.
At that point.
Yeah, God. It's the player and player interactions that really make the best moments in these games.
Well, yeah, in MMOs, because if you think about the actual gameplay loops in those games, it's very, very repetitive. It's go here, click 3 buttons until the thing dies, and then click some more buttons if you want to do it a little bit better. Then go somewhere else and do the same thing.
Exactly. You spend so much time being angry at people for not doing something right. It's incredibly refreshing to be able to just let your hair down. No one gave a shit really about the boss that one. We did actually, when everyone finally rejoined and there was 7 minutes left of the game, we did actually manage to kill the boss. and at the end you're like, hey, we've defeated the boss that can disconnect us midway through the fight. Like, it wasn't us fighting the whale anymore, it was us fighting Square Enix's internet connection. And we victored. We were victorious. It was great.
It's not the fighting the boss. It's not
two
the
people. Gone.
It's not the fighting the boss. It's not the staying connected. It's the friends you made along the way.
Exactly, and I actually got 2 friends added me after that fight, which were the first 2 that I have on the game that I don't know already. So that was really nice.
Nice.
And also, so God, I won't talk about Final Fantasy much longer, but just this. Every time I join one of these fights now, I've got to the point in the game where I can participate in these fights because I'm level 60, but everyone else in the fight is above level 60 because they've all got the paid versions.
Yeah.
And so they can like add you as a friend, they can send private messages to you. I feel a bit like a leper.
I think
because
you mean
I'm
a
in
leech.
there and I can see that I'm the only one who is playing free.
Mm.
And it's like some curse because I'm like, I can't say, oh, I'll add you as a friend, because I can't.
Yeah,
I have to say, can you add me as a friend?
Yeah.
And also, don't private message me because I can't private message you back.
Yeah, the word you're looking for there is probably leech. A leper is where your arms and legs fall off.
Yeah, but like back in the day when you'd see
Leper
someone
colonies.
who was that, then you'd just want to stay away from them, was my point.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's still the case. They actually still have leper colonies.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of isolated from the general population, so it can't spread.
Yeah.
Fun little medical fact. All right.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too into it because it was a bit grim, but...
All right, come on. You said...
anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, I was just going to say that... All right, you've had your anecdote, but you said there were 5 topics, so I...
Yes. So, next. Halo.
Okay.
More about bugs and crashing. Halo has...
Is this Halo Infinite?
Halo Infinite, yep. Have you heard about this?
I haven't yet, because I've been busy all weekend. I got into another round of the multiplayer, like, stress test, and I haven't had time to play it, and I'm annoyed, and I'm hoping that I have time... Well, after the podcast, that's probably what I'm going to do, is play Halo.
So, like, in Halo, you will know there are times when, like, gravity just fails in Halo, and, like, your body ragdolls 50 meters into the sky and shit like that, right?
Yeah. It became an entire game mechanic in Halo 2. You could super bounce.
Yeah, it's funny, you kind of embrace it.
Yeah.
So someone found that in Halo Infinite there's a bug where, you know how you get like yellow wet floor signs in supermarkets?
That's what that picture was about. Somebody posted a picture with a bunch of them all over the place. Right,
exactly. So when you throw an electric grenade, they constantly like split into 2. And you just get infinite yellow floor signs.
I know what map that is. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, just random crap like that. It's nice when you find a game that where bugs don't break the game, but just fucking hilarious.
But they're
just
funny,
so random.
Yeah.
Like why an electric grenade affects this
I'm
yellow floor sign in particular.
Before anyone listening who plays Halo gets a bit too cringe, it's plasma grenade blue.
Oh, okay. When the shit that I looked at, clearly they weren't a Halo player either, because this said an electric grenade. Maybe there's a character that has electric grenades in this? I don't know.
There's no character classes. So, unless they've added in... I wonder if they added a third grenade type in. Maybe there is one now. But there's frag grenades and plasma grenades by default. They also added...
I don't think they mean plasma, because I think...
Yeah, they added spike grenades in later iterations of Halo. Maybe they put another one in. This is why I'm uninformed, because I haven't had time to play it.
I'm just...
He's Googling right now. Also, on the subject of Halo, I was saying this to Blue last night. For some reason on the Steam community page, there's just a lot of pictures of Seinfeld and other characters from the Seinfeld like TV show. You got George Costanza showing up, and they're just these weird, stretched out pictures.
Apparently there's a new electric electricity arc grenade, I think.
Interesting. So they made a shock rifle, and that wasn't in the previous flight, but it was in this one. And so maybe they added a new grenade too. That's pretty cool. I like if that is in there. I'm looking forward to it. What I can't wait for is when they do one of these flights and they introduce vehicles, because so far it's just been like arena multiplayer maps, so 4v4. And I really want to play with vehicles.
Do you reckon they're going to add any new vehicle? I mean, when did they last add a new vehicle?
They added new ones pretty much every iteration of Halo.
Oh, really?
So Halo 2, they added in the Shade. No, Shadow. God, I can't remember the name of it. It was basically the Covenant Warthog. It was the Covenant Warthog.
Right. Okay.
And
so like a back-mounted
machine
gun on a truck.
Yeah, but then it had 2 side seats, so it actually could seat 1 extra person compared to the actual normal Warthog. It could also boost and do wheelies. I used to love driving that thing because I got really good at like running people over with it. Then in Halo 3, they added the Mongoose, and they added, which was like a 2-seater ATV. I'm trying to think I think they added something else. I think they added a flying vehicle in Halo 3 as well. It was a human flying vehicle. It's like it had 2 side-mounted gun turrets and then a driver's seat.
Carriers.
What?
Carrier gunship kind of thing.
Yeah, but it was small. So it was a very small kind of carrier gunship. It was like that though. It was like a helicopter basically, except it had side wing propellers. This is I've played so much Halo, but just like anything else, I didn't bother memorizing any of the names. Like games that League of Legends games that I poured thousands of hours into, I'd be hard pressed to name half of the characters. I normally just refer to them as like that fat guy, or something like that.
It's weird the things that you do remember, but you don't remember other really basic things.
Names, right and left, like these things just don't stick in my head. But if you ask me like very details or anything that like involves numbers, I'm typically very good at remembering that sort of stuff.
I was amazed when you remembered the in one of the quiz segments I asked you about Clash, I think from Rainbow Six Siege. And you knew exactly who they were straight away, even though like you are terrible with names. And but no, you remember that one.
It is very random what does and doesn't stick in my head, but there's some like rough rules for it. Anyway,
speaking of Rainbow Six Siege,
yep,
there is a new operator from. Well, I want you to guess, where do you think they will have gone next with their special forces?
The Taliban.
His special ability is he starts posting memes. Croatia.
That's interesting. Okay. Isn't Croatia in the Balkans? Am I thinking of the right place?
Has probably the shittest ability I think I've seen today. I'm sure pros would have great use of it, and I'm uneducated. But
also,
basically,
did you call them crows?
Pros.
Pros. Oh, I thought you were trying to say Croatians. Anyway, it is in the Balkans. It's on the eastern edge of the Balkans, right next to Italy. I was right.
Gotcha.
I actually remembered what country. All right, go on.
So she deploys a bulletproof window.
Wait, doesn't somebody else already have that ability?
Oh
no, they make a bulletproof window in a wall.
Oh, you're thinking of Mira.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So you could put this bulletproof shield, if you will, on the ground, or you can put it straight into a window.
Yeah.
And it's got a little gap at the top so you can shoot over the window. But if someone melees the glass, it frosts over and you can't see through it. And if the back side of it gets hit, there's a little red canister on it. If that bursts, much like with Mira's...
Okay, it's a similar concept.
Yeah, it breaks. So it's just a sheet of glass. That's it. A bulletproof sheet of glass.
But it's specific to Windows, so I guess it might help.
Well, no, you can put it on the ground as well.
Oh. Well, I mean, there's less guesswork. You can see through it. Safely scout out the enemy.
But like, you know how that you get the iron ones that you just plonk down the floor?
Yeah.
You can see through them. They have slits.
But you can shoot through slits. I mean, I see where you're going. No, the enemy can.
No, they can't. I don't think. I think it's one of those things where you can see through it, but you can't shoot through it.
The slits?
On the armors. Yeah. They're like tiny slits. You know, the reinforced barricades.
I guess I thought you could shoot through them. I know you can't shoot through the shields, like the one Montong carries, but...
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah.
I haven't played Rainbow Six in...
I think.
I haven't played Rainbow Six in quite a while.
Yeah, it just seemed a bit rubbish. Which, I mean, especially now that, like, there's so many characters out now that I feel like, A, they're running out of ideas very fast.
Yeah.
Because that's a shit item.
It happens. And, I mean, this happens in every game where you start to have a large accumulation of characters. There gets to be some redundancy, and you saw this with League.
Maybe they balanced it by giving her good guns. I don't know.
They got to the point in League where they were taking, like, new characters were just, like, they would look very different, but their abilities essentially were just like a reshuffle of abilities that other characters had.
Yeah. There we go. So, and the other final topic I had for this was there is the Witcher Season 2 trailer was released yesterday. Or at least a new one.
Shit, I gotta check that out.
It wasn't... Go on.
We talked about The Witcher on here, didn't we? Like, way back when it...
Yeah, we did.
Because I had some opinions on it. I've read, for reference, I've read all of the Witcher books. I've beat The Witcher 1 and 3 and beaten most of The Witcher 2. But I don't know, that game just loses me like halfway through. But the story, I've watched the story like on YouTube and stuff just to keep up with it. And just a brief recap of my opinion on the first season. It was good. They changed very key story elements from the books, and I think that is where they went wrong, because I think they cheapened a few of the characters by going down that route. For instance, they tried to make Yennefer, the main witch character, Geralt's big love interest, off and on throughout the series. They tried to make her like special and uniquely a tragic character, which they didn't have to. Like, her backstory was already bad enough, and then after that she became like somebody who was, confident and self-reliant and essentially like a self-made person. She through her wits.
Of a bitch.
Yeah, she's a bitch, but she's like through wits and skill she manages to like make her way up in the world and actually become a good person. And in the series, they tried to make it wasn't enough that she had a tragic backstory; she had to have a tragic middle story too, and then a tragic late story. And it's like, okay, come on, it wasn't this bad. Like, she doesn't have to keep going through these tragedies. They also made the mistake of turning this person who has never touched a weapon in her life and uses her wits and political machinations and magic to, get by. They made it so she was like an awesome swordsman in one episode, and it's like, no, you're cheapening the character. They also did some stuff with Geralt in one of the episodes that I didn't like, but for the most part, like, they got Geralt's character perfect in the TV show. They also nailed the character of Dandelion.
That's the bard, right?
That's the bard. Oh, he's called the Yeskia in the series because they went with the original Polish. They translated it in the English in the games and the books. But so they got a lot right. They did a few other weird things, like they race swapped a bunch of characters, which, again, it didn't matter. It's Polish folklore, so it's silly that they did that, but it doesn't matter. It's a fantasy world, so do what you want. That didn't affect the characters at all. They got the characters right. They just decided they were a different race. The Queen in the first season, she
was cool.
Yeah, they got her perfect. They got the little girl Ciri. They got her perfect. All right, that's recapping my opinion on season 1. What's the trailer for season 2 look like? Because I haven't seen it yet.
So, I'm going to keep it very simple.
Yeah.
Because it is very simple, I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The first minute of it was just recapping the stuff that happened at the end of the last season.
Yep.
Then they did... so, I don't know how much detail you want to go into. I mean, it's in the trailer. So
I'm going to watch the trailer. I'm going to watch it myself, so feel free.
So, Geralt, I assume, it takes Ciri.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can't take that name seriously.
What, Ciri? Oh, right, because of... Yeah.
Yeah.
The books were written before the iPhone.
Some kind of citadel of other witches, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a... I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
Training her to use like a sword and shit.
Yep, that happens in the books.
Yep. It's all snowy. Yennefer is... she's like in the middle of a siege with the other wizard lady who's working for the bad guys.
I think that happens. Okay.
So that something happens there, and they both end up being stuck in the same situation together against a third party that are also evil, I guess. And it looks like they're going to explore some kind of slave mechanics and that kind of thing with them.
Yeah, there aren't. One of the things I
like
liked.
Tragedy for Yennefer.
Yeah, but that does happen. Like that's less tragedy and more adversity. They just decided to bully her all throughout the first season or the first half of it. But the second season, one of the things I liked about the Witcher book series was, and the series in general, was there really weren't good or evil people. Even the monsters are often portrayed as ambiguous. Like they're either just beasts, like essentially giant animals, or
I was about to get to that.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that there's any evil faction. Like there's the northern realms, right, that are very superstitious and constantly at war with each other and are constantly stabbing each other in the back, and they're kind of backward and keeping the people backward. But then there's
definitely evil factions in the TV show, though.
I wouldn't say in season 1 there weren't. They try to present Nilfgaard as like the big bad people, but they're not really. They're just...
No, I know that, but that's only because you've seen things other than the TV show. If you've purely seen the TV show, you just think Nilfgaard are assholes.
Yeah, and they are at first portrayed as absolute assholes in this series, but they're basically just like the most well put together. They're the Roman Empire, for lack of a better way to put it. Like they're marching into the north. They're the civilizing force. They're the people who, because their people live better lives. They're more secure. They're more healthy. They have a great industry, and they're trying to, by force, impose that on these northern realms who are very independent.
A lot of similarities between season 1 of Game of Thrones, where the Lannisters. None of the factions are good factions. None of them are good people. But the Lannisters suddenly come in and kill the people who were the closest to being good.
Yeah, but that's just because that I really do like and I'm going off the book because I haven't seen the TV show for Game of Thrones other than the first 2 episodes, but I know what happens in them. So the Starks are they're a very, because they're kind of in a rural area. They're much more reliant on, what is it? Kind of the whole honor system. People up there are less likely to betray each other and pull these weird political machinations because they have to deal with these very harsh winters, and you really need to rely on your neighbor to keep you and yours alive. And so the point that the first book makes is when they go down there to this southern kingdom, the southern area of the kingdom, where the it's a little bit warmer. People don't have to worry so much about survival. Those sorts of political games happen, and they fall afoul of them. And they do end up getting killed by these people who are willing to do the sketchy shit that they're not.
Yep. But yes, the monsters. The monsters had about a 10-15 second flash clips of monsters, and that was it. So maybe they don't have many. Maybe they aren't super great looking because they flash through them real fucking fast.
Yeah.
And they put them all in one place. They didn't spread them out across the trailer. But the few shots of monsters I did see looked like they went for some more abstract monsters as opposed to the more generic ones we saw in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be really good, it could be really bad. Based on the fact they flashed through them so fast, maybe not great.
To be fair, the monsters were never a central focus in the Witcher games or books. It's really, like, the idea is that they exist, they're out there, but hunting them and stuff like that, that's just, Geralt's day job.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
It's a framing device for the rest of the story. It's just another piece of the world.
And, they kind of finished it up with several dramatic-looking scenes, a little bit of torture, and, what's her name? Ciri, she looks older. She's, I don't know, every time I see her, I just see, what's her name? Cersei? No, not Cersei. Queen of Dragons.
Oh, Daenerys. Yeah, see, this is the problem with having read all of the books before the series even came out. I pronounce all of the names differently than they do in the series.
Well, I know Daenerys. I first heard it from Harry Potter. Daenerys Umbridge.
I didn't even know there was a character with that name in Harry Potter.
She's the weird stand-in teacher who had the pens that when you wrote cut out the words in your flesh.
Oh, I didn't know her first name was that.
Yeah, Daenerys Umbridge.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because I never paid attention.
I mean, I remember, maybe they just said that in the tapes, I don't know.
Anyway.
Back when I listened to tapes, back in the good old days.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's just another one of those names I pronounce differently because I'm thinking of it now, is the dwarf character from Game of Thrones. In the series, they call him Tyrion. But in the books, I always read his name as Tyrion. And the reason I do that is because that's what the city's called. Tyre. Like Tyr.
Right.
Like, or at least that's the more common pronunciation that I've heard of it. And so when I see Tyrion. Tyrion. What are you saying?
If the city's named Tyr, I'd say it's Tyr, because it's like a Welsh.
Yeah, but the city I'm talking about is in Anatolia. Like, it's on the Turkish coast, I want to say, or it's in that region, like in between Turkey and Greece.
Okay, I have no idea.
I only know about it because during Alexander's conquest of Persia, he made a stop off in Tyre and wanted to take the city. They didn't want him in there, and they had a moat and very high walls, and he was like, this moat's not going to stop me, and he wasted a ton of men and material to build a giant dirt walkway across the moat and then break in.
I see.
Just fun little historical anecdote. Anecdote.
Antidote.
This has been the morning of us using the wrong words for things.
Yes. Well, we'll be saying the wrong words in movie time in a second.
Yeah. All right. This is going to be the end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you'll hear us again momentarily for segment 2. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 2, our media segment, and we did movie night this week. We were watching Coco, the Disney animated movie. About a boy, music, and Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
All about the origins of cocoa powder and hot chocolates.
No, it's not. Coco, it's the grandmother in the story of this big family. Or great-grandmother?
Grandmother of the
Okay,
kid.
I wasn't sure if she was his grandmother or great grandmother. But yeah,
No, you're right. It is great grandmother
yeah. So the
because there's her parents, then the mum above that, and then yeah.
yeah. So plot of the movie. What is it? Starts off it's established that they're kind of in. It's strongly implied that it's like a small like Mexican town or something like that. And it doesn't seem to be quite modern day because you don't really see phones or anything like that. So it's probably I would guess maybe like 60s or 70s at the latest in terms of timeline. But none of that's really too important. Just kind of scene setting there.
Well, they had TVs and stuff.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying like 60s or 70s maybe. Like still in but still in like the mid 1900s. But yeah,
Anyway,
they what is it? They're a shoemaking family, artisans, a whole family of shoemakers.
Cobblers.
What? Cobblers.
Cobblers.
Yeah, that's the word. And but their youngest kid there, the main character, whose name I don't remember.
I can't remember
No.
either. I will say it's Alex or something short
Yeah,
like that. It's short.
Yeah, it was something quick and to the point. But he has a passion for music and wants to play. And like he'll occasionally go out in the middle of the square and he's just playing music for random people. But his family hates music. Absolutely hates it.
Well, no, he's not playing music for anyone at this point.
But isn't he like out? Oh no, I think he was
He shines people's
people's shoes, and I think he was shining the shoes of a musician or something like that.
A
A
mariachi
mariachi player. That's what it was. And his family finds out about this, and they're none too happy about it because the whole family is just they hate music because going back to their was great grandmother or something like that. Did we establish that?
So great great grandmother is the one who is the oldest woman in
Yeah.
the family.
So the oldest living one is
Who's
the
dead.
great grandmother, and that's Coco. Because
Yeah.
there's him, there's his parents, and then his grandmother
His
is the
gran.
one who's like very angry and passionate about this game.
Assaults a mariachi
Yeah,
member.
he assaults him because it's like, you can't talk to my son. Get your dirty music out of here. And then the great grandmother is Coco, so she's like very quiet, just kind of just sits in her chair in the corner of the room. And going back to the great grandmother, that's where you get to their, or maybe it's even further back than that. This woman who like her husband never like left one day to go off and play music, and then he just never came home. And so that's why the whole family, music is forbidden. Like, they hate musicians. No one in the family can play music. But that's the kid's passion.
Yep.
Then, what was it? How does he find out? He finds out somehow, like, who is his.
Jump-
Yeah, you can take it from here. I'll jump in with parts of this.
Okay, so he goes down to the square, and his hero is this big guitarist that everyone loves. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the... Let's call him
His
Honcho.
name is De La Cruz.
There we go, Dela Cruz. And he looks at the guy's guitar in the...
Mausoleum.
In the... Well, yes, but I mean in the picture he has of his family.
Yeah, so this is actually a really important part. They have like a shrine to all the dead family members in their house. And it's like all their dead aunts and uncles, and on the Day of the Dead, they have to, leave offerings to them and remember them and talk about them. And at the top is the great whatever grandmother, the one that got left by the musician. And he accidentally knocks the photo off and then unfolds it, and there's a picture with the head torn off, because of bitterness. But you can see it's the same outfit that De La Cruz wears, and it's his guitar, or a guitar that looks exactly like it. So... yeah, go on.
So yes, then he goes and the kid, because his grandmother smashes his guitar, but he wants to perform at the mariachi festival. He tries to steal the De La Cruz guitar from the crypt that apparently they buried his guitar next to his body. And the moment he touches it, he becomes he becomes cursed. He becomes a corporeal spirit that can't be seen by the living, although he can see the living, and he can also see the dead now.
Yep. And then doesn't he try to put the guitar back, and then he becomes corporeal again, and then he takes the guitar again, or something like that? I don't remember exactly how it happened.
So he finds a lot of his undead family, and they take him to the afterlife, essentially. And then they take him to this like customs place where they're like, this kid shouldn't be dead. Why is he dead? And they're like, oh, he's cursed, and he needs his family to forgive him, basically, to send him back. And so they're like, all right, cool.
I do.
Sorry,
I just want to say I do love this scene, because if anyone's ever been through like airport customs or stuff like that, that's exactly what it's like, and it just it amused me profusely watching that scene.
So his great-great-grandmother is there, and she can't get over to the real world because he has the photo that was on the family's mausoleum. And she's pissed. And she says, okay, I will forgive you, and you can put the photo back of me so I can visit my relatives if you promise never to touch a guitar again. And so he's like, yeah, I promise, fine. Sends him back to the moment before he touched the guitar. And then he instantly goes and touches the guitar.
And then he's back in the land of the dead.
That's when it pings him back in, yeah. He meets the stranger.
Yeah, so
you take
the way it goes from here early on there was a as they're going through customs, there's this other like, skinny skeleton like who's really sketchy. So part of this whole custom scene is to establish that only the people whose families still remember them and have their picture on this altar are able to go back and visit their family on the Day of the Dead. And so this guy's trying to sneak through, so he's dressed himself up like a woman or something like that, and tries to pass himself off as this person who's in there, and they're like, nope. They scan him, and they're like, no, you can't go through. And so he's getting like hauled off. He's just trying to get back to the land of the living so he can put his own photo up in his family's place, and they'll remember him.
Which, by the way, that whole custom... I should say, there's the customs office, and then there's the border line. The border guard. And the border guard is a completely unnecessary and pointless function. It is entirely pointless. Because whether they let you through or not, scanned or not scanned, the bridge will not let you walk over the bridge to the living world if your picture is not there. So it's completely pointless.
He immediately like sinks into the bridge. So, and then they just haul him back through.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that at this point, like parallel to this, the boy, the main character, he like his family is trying to make him give up music and whatnot, and he bolts, he runs for some reason. I think he wants, because his goal is to get in there and try to meet De La Cruz, because he thinks that De La Cruz is his his father, and if his father or great grandfather, and if he forgives him, then it's just as good as if the great grandmother forgives him, and then he can go back, and he can stipulate you can go back and not play music and still play music, and that'll kind of solve the whole situation. So he runs from his family to try and find De La Cruz.
Sorry.
Okay, I wanted to make that point before we moved on.
Gotcha. So there's the tramp guy. He talks to the tramp guy, and the tramp guy is like, "Yeah, I know De La Cruz. He was someone I knew in the real world while I was alive." And he's like, and so the kid was like, "Oh wow, help me get to him, and I will take your photo that you have, and back to the real world, so that you'll have a reason to be able to get back into the living world afterwards." That was the deal he struck with this tramp dude. And so the tramp dude is like, okay, cool. The De La Cruz is in his penthouse. The only way you can get in is by getting a golden ticket from winning a talent contest. So they do a talent contest. They fail because there's a panic moment where they have to run away, even though they could have possibly won.
Yeah. But he does play. They do play here, and I do want to say the music in this movie is spectacular. It is like, full in the, like, perfectly on form. I think we were talking about a Disney movie the other day where we were saying the music was... It was you were talking about Soul and saying the music was surprisingly meh. But this one, like, they just knocked it out of the park with the music.
Yep. So they... he's... what happens?
I think... So they run off...
He gets into the party.
Yeah, they run off. At some point, him and the tramp guy end up talking to a friend of the tramp guy's to get a guitar. Oh, no, this is before the contest. This is an important plot point.
Yeah, I know, I skipped over that.
It's a very important plot point because they establish what happens if people forget you in the real world. So... yeah, because they go and they talk to this... This is how they get the guitar for the contest. They talk to this guy's friend who's, like, fading away in his hammock, and this is where they establish if people don't remember you in the real world, if, your photo isn't there, and eventually everyone forgets you who knew you in life, you just disappear in the afterlife and fade away. And that's why it's so important for this guy to get his photo over there, and it's a plot point. It's a major plot point for that reason. That's why everyone in the death world wants you. That's why the great-grandmother at the beginning was so pissed, because now her photo's not there. Who's going to remember her? So, just important plot point. But yeah, after that, they do run away, and at some point, they link up with the mariachi band that did win.
Yes, so just a quick thing before that, regarding the guy that's dying. These are a very specific quote, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard before, which is, you die twice. The first time is when your spirit leaves your body when you die in the real world. The second time is when the last person forgets you.
Yeah.
So, yes, they get to the bottom of the tower, they can't get in, but there's another mariachi band that was in the contest with them, and they're like, yeah, sure, we'll just smuggle you in. So they just smuggle them in. Super fucking easy. They get to this fantastic party, and the kid whips out his guitar and starts playing a song, which shushes everyone in the hall and gets the attention of Dela Cruz. The kid then almost drowns himself.
Because he falls into a pool or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he's not paying attention, and Dela Cruz saves him, and he's like, oh my god, I've got a grandson, great-great-grandson.
Yeah, and he's just very happy. He does it for the crowd, like, hey, everyone, meet my great-great-great-grandson.
Yeah, he's introducing a bunch of people. And then the scene with, I was going to say Hector.
I think the other guy's name is Hector.
Yeah, the tramp guy's called Hector. So he also gets in to the party somehow. Yeah. Oh, by dressing up as a famous actress.
Yeah. The same trick he tried to use to get over the bridge.
Yeah. Except this time he gets in, and he has a fight with Dela Cruz, and it turns out that Dela Cruz actually was the one who killed Hector in the real world.
Yeah. So it turned... Yeah, they kind of do a dual reveal here. One, that... Because when Dela Cruz tries to forgive the kid, it doesn't work. He doesn't go back, I think. And so...
Well, they kind of... They didn't give it away immediately.
Yeah.
Like, because they were interrupted while he was doing it.
Yeah. And this was the point in my notes where... And this is spoilers for the movie, but I mean, they broadcast this plot point pretty well throughout the movie. So if you're paying attention... I mean, I got this pretty early on. In my notes, I actually wrote down, I'm calling it right now that the loser is really his grandpa. And sure enough...
Yeah. I didn't get it until he said Coco. Honestly.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I picked up on that pretty early. I was like...
I think it's because right at the beginning of the film, they were playing so dumb about, like, the evil guy being his father. And it was so long till they like put two and two together, and they were like, "Oh my god, he must be my dad." That I thought the film was just going to treat me like a fucking stupid kid. So that's kind of just where I set the bar after the first 10 minutes of the film. I never really thought too hard about any of the points after that.
But yeah. So they contrived series of events. They end up getting interrupted. I don't remember exactly how the kid ends up leaving the mansion or anything like...
So Hector gets taken away by Dela Cruz's guards, and then the kid is like, "Hey, that was kind of shitty. I need to go back to the real world, like now." And Dela Cruz is like, "No, you're also going to be locked up for the
because
night."
he knows about the fact that they killed. Okay, yeah,
he killed him.
and yeah, so I think
so
just
Hector and the kid are both in this hole in the ground.
yeah, we kind of glossed over this, but the way he kills him. So this other guy, Hector, he was the guy that actually was writing all the songs and developing the music for the most part, like.
And it was his guitar.
And it was his guitar, and De La Cruz was just like the face, the front man. He was the guy that played the songs and had the charisma on stage and all that fun stuff. And when this guy Hector said, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. I gotta go back to my family. De La Cruz is like, he saw his cash cow going away, and so he poisons him, steals the guitar, and steals the songs. And
yeah, very suddenly had poison for someone who I guess must have. I mean, he just suddenly had poison.
yeah. I mean, it depends on how long he knew the guy was going to be leaving. But at that point in time, you could buy like pretty potent poisons at just like an apothecary, like over the counter. There's even these days, there's less stringent pharmaceutical controls in Mexico. You can get a lot of things over the counter that you can't in other countries.
It was just that he suddenly had it in his pocket on his person.
So it almost implies that this was somewhat premeditated, like he'd been thinking about doing this for a while. Anyway, yeah, so they end up in a hole together in a cell. How do they get out? I'm struggling to remember that.
The dog appears at the top, and then the panther.
Oh, right, the dog. I love the dog. Sorry.
Hades? No. What was it?
I don't remember what they called the dog, honestly.
It was something like, Dante.
Dante, yes. So there's this dog companion that's been with him for a good chunk of the movie after he's in the land of the dead, and honestly adorable. But yes, the dog saves them. Before. And then I think De La Cruz is putting on like a big...
well, hang on, he finds out in the hole about...
Hector being his dad? Yeah,
dad,
okay.
Yeah.
That is when it happens. I wasn't sure when exactly it happened. So he finds out about that, and then... What was He
finds out that Coco is the last person
who remembers
left
him,
on the
which
planet
is
who remembers.
calling back to that earlier plot point. But what I'm trying to remember now is because they expose De La Cruz, and they do it in a very specific way, and I remember that, but I can't remember exactly how they set that up to, like, did they record him or something?
When they rescue him out of the hole, they're like, we got to go see De La Cruz and get his photo back. So they fly to this place where they know De La Cruz is going to be performing, and they try and grab De La Cruz, but he runs away, and instead the great-great-grandmother ends up on the stage by accident. De La Cruz tries to grab her because she managed to get hold of the photo, and then they all get pushed backstage. And they're on top of this massive building, and De La Cruz is being like the typical evil villain that reveals all his plans needlessly.
Oh. One
of the family members subtly turns one of the cameras, which happens to be on even though it's backstage. And suddenly the whole stadium can see everything that's going on behind the curtain.
I can see him revealing his whole plan. I was trying to remember that because I knew they didn't record him, but I knew that something got played on stage. I forgot about him doing the generic villain, "This is my plan."
Yeah. Before pushing a child off a building.
So, I think at this point, so he goes out and suddenly everyone hates him and they're booing him, and he has to run off stage and everything like that, despite the fact he tries to sing and do everything, it just doesn't work. People start throwing stuff at him. And then then there's like this redemption scene somewhat between the great-great-great-grandmother and then his actual father Hector, or great whatever. I'm getting sick of saying great.
Two greats.
They have a bit of a reconciliation moment, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit, like that she was being this vindictive, even though it was 100% not his fault.
Oh,
like Hector, like he was trying to come home to his family.
To be fair, she didn't know that it wasn't until like right then.
Exactly, which it annoyed me how vindictive she was being. Like she just found out, totally not his fault. He was trying to come home to her. He was trying to do the right thing, and she still. I guess it takes a long time for a 100-year grudge to fade.
Pretty quick. I mean, she changes from wanting him more dead to wanting him to live so badly that she almost sacrificed herself. Like that was in the matter of like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just at first I was getting annoyed with her, but she does turn around very quickly. Is what I was getting to.
She definitely wears the trousers in the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. But she does it very well. Ow. It's not in like a... Sorry, I have a teapot in front of me. I just went to pour more tea and I just burnt my hand. It's quite...
Yeah, it's not in like I'm an empowered feminist kind of way. I assume that was where you
That is where I was going with that. It's not ham-fisted. She wears the pants in the relationship because she deserves to wear the pants in the relationship. Like she's clearly the matriarch of the household, and she has the ability. Because if you think about like what she did, like he didn't come back, and she didn't. What did she do? She raised the family herself. They became these prominent artisans, and like she maintained like discipline for the whole family going down the line, and it's just like she deserved the pants in that relationship. Anyway,
so this is where one of the big fuck ups I think happened in the film. In the point where everything is good and happy and the evil man is hated by everyone. How the fuck does the real world know that he's evil?
They don't.
They do though. They board up his mausoleum. They say, "Not you, this guy instead."
I wonder if it's maybe. That's a good point. I kind of just that didn't click for me. I kind of just assumed that the kid came back and somehow they told people about it. Because the dead can't communicate with the living in it. They just come home on the Day of the Dead and sit around with the family. Yep. That's a very good point. Yeah. In theory, the land of the living should still think he's a decent dude.
Yeah. And also, it wouldn't actually make a difference to how many people... Like, there's still only a handful of people that knew the real talent Hector. Yeah. And everyone may fucking hate this what's his name?
De La Cruz.
Everyone may fucking hate him, but they still remember him.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
So, I mean, it's like, God, Hitler must still be fucking alive in this day and age. Like,
but you see, the thing is, and I actually think that this is there's a good kind of in-universe explanation for this, because, yeah, he's never going to fade away, but his eternal existence is going to be shit, because everyone that, like, comes in and finds out what he did is going to hate him. So he's spending his entire afterlife just getting shit on.
Yeah, he's still fucking rich.
True.
And you can bet that the mercenaries don't give a fuck.
Yeah, okay. It's a fair point, and it is a plot hole in the movie, but one that I didn't even notice until you brought that up.
Yeah, but otherwise, go on. Do you say the last part of the story? It's
it is a very touching part of the story, and it honestly, it was a bit of a tearjerker. Like he goes home, and his actual great-great-grandfather Hector is starting to fade away, because the last person that remembered him, Coco, his daughter, is starting to forget him, because she's 90-something years old, and she was only like a small little girl the last time she saw him, and so they managed to send him home at the last moment with the kid. They forgive him. They allow him to play music, and he runs home, and he shows the photo to Coco, and is just pleading with her to remember. And finally, after a while, they play it out for a long time, like nothing's going to happen. And finally, after a while, she she like reaches
when he plays the
when
guitar.
he plays the guitar and starts playing the music her father wrote. She finally starts to like react, and she looks at the photo and she starts telling stories to the family about how he was and what he was like.
And she's speaking clearly. She's displaying positive signs of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Which she wasn't previously.
No, it's a very, very touching scene. And I think you want to, go for it.
I was about to say, and then she dies.
She does, but they, like, at that point, it's like, she's lived a very long and fulfilling life. She's surrounded by her family and loved ones, and she got to remember her father positively, like, in her last days. I think that's a very positive way to go out.
Do you want me to poke another hole in it? There is no point in reminding Coco, apart from for her own sake, that about her father. There was no point in doing that.
I think
because now the kid was alive, and he was remembering the father, the great great grandfather.
I think.
I mean, because Coco still dies, and the only thing keeping him in that afterlife is the kid. So I don't think that is quite right, because I think the rule they established was that people need to remember who you were and what you were like in life. So there was a point to it, because then Coco recounted what he was like in life to the rest of the family, and now they all remembered, and that's what's keeping him there. Right. So they had to hear the story from...
Yeah.
It had to actually pass down, even though he did actually meet the guy.
Yeah, I don't think that counts. I think like if he just told him about like his life, that wouldn't... It's not like first-hand experience, technically. So I think that's... It's contrived a little bit, but I think that's what they were going for.
But no, okay, it's fair. You bring up the point. And so then rounds off. Yeah. Coco goes to the afterlife with her mother and father. Slightly weird scene where this little old lady is the daughter of these two normal-aged people. Normal-aged. Middle-aged. And there's like music returns to the family household in the living world. Mm-hmm. And the ghosts are all there for, I guess, the next... I was about to say Dawn of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Dia
de los Muertos.
I think that's how it ends.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now, like, just final because we have a few minutes to actually discuss the movie as a whole now. We kind of jumped in and out, like, talking about it throughout. One point that I made after we watched it, and that I think is important, there's a lot of bits of... The movie's in English, but there's a lot of bits of Spanish in it. And it does help to know a little bit of Spanish, like
particularly in the music.
Yeah, there's some very basic stuff in the dialogue, like, you know, referring to family members like tío and tía, you know, aunt and uncle, abuela, you know, grandmother, things like that. There's stuff like that, and there's little things like, you know, thank you and basic phrases in Spanish. If you know that, like, it's a little bit... If you know absolutely no Spanish, you can still enjoy the movie, but I don't know what it... Actually, I can't say that. I don't know what it would be like to know absolutely no Spanish and watch it, but...
Well, I mean, neither can I, because I do know the odd bit of Spanish. But when they do speak Spanish, they kind of do it quieter and more rushed than when they speak... When they're speaking English, they speak loud and clear.
Yeah.
Whereas when they slip into Spanish, it's just a quick puff or you know,
which, especially Latin American Spanish, it does tend to be spoken more rapidly than English. At least that's been my experience.
So if you're listening in for it, you can hear it, but otherwise you don't need it.
A lot of the times you can pick it out in context too. Like I assume. And yeah, like you said, in the music they do switch into Spanish for verses and stuff, but even if you don't understand the lyrics, like I listen to music from other languages that I have no idea what they're saying, but you can still enjoy it. Yeah
K-pop.
Oh my god, not so much anymore, but yeah, there was Oh, the colors, like the actual visuals in it, like the Land of the Dead, like just
Yes.
bright fluorescence and neons and just gorgeous.
As is represented by Day of the
Yeah.
Dead festivals.
Mm.
Go on.
I was just going to reiterate, absolutely gorgeous color palette.
Yeah. Particularly with the spirit creatures.
Yeah. Oh,
Very vibrant.
how did I forget about the spirit creatures? Oh my god, like the doesn't the great grandmother, her spirit creature is like a griffin? It's like this giant bird dog
Yes.
monster.
With a leopard's
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, they all have spirit creatures that are like that guide them in the afterlife, and they're
Very, very Golden Compass in design, in that even they can actually change form.
they are
as well.
they are absolutely just those things are so cool. There's a lot of details, like thinking back on it now, that like we kind of glossed over in the summary. We hit the major points, but we didn't hit everything. Honestly, this is a movie that after we finished watching it, I literally ordered the Blu-ray on Amazon like that day, because I was like, I want to have this on my bookshelf. The movie was that good. There are a couple like maybe contrivances, like Blue was pointing out, but if you just like the movie, it's a feel-good movie. It has a good storyline. There's a few twists and turns in it that might have going, but this is I think a really good example of a movie that would be good for for all ages. Like kids would enjoy this movie, adults would enjoy this movie. Just great all around.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think it's my choice next for movie night, right?
I believe so, because that was Alicia's.
It was,
and
indeed.
then back to me again. So, do you have any idea what you're going to be choosing?
I did, but knowing my memory, I've already forgotten.
All right. Well, let's end it there. This is going to be the end of segment 2 of the TMCJ podcast. You'll hear us again momentarily for segment 3. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 3, our wild card segment, and for me at least, it is very wild today because I have no idea what Blue has planned.
Yes, Kaiser, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
A trial of tricks and truths.
The fuck does that even mean?
It means I will present to you, there are going to be 10 of these, okay? And I will present you with today's theme, first of all, of video game achievements.
Okay.
I will present you with a game and 2 achievements from that game. One of them is a trick. The other is a truth.
Okay, I like this.
You have to work out which one is actually real.
Okay, I like this. This is another segment that, people can play along at home.
It is indeed. Some of these games you won't have played, but you will know about. All of them are games that you will know about. So, I'm not going to shaft you too badly in that respect.
Go for it.
Also, some of these achievements for people out there might be a little spicy. You've been warned, alright? I'm just saying. If there are any kids listening, which there shouldn't be,
No.
stop.
All of these episodes are marked as explicit. There shouldn't be.
Absolutely. Right, the first trick or truth. It is the game for this one is A Way Out.
Okay.
Your first one. In A Way Out, there is an achievement at the start of the game for getting a record of 20 reps on the vertical bars workout equipment.
Mm.
The achievement is called the dip.
Okay.
Or, is that the true one? Or, there is an achievement on the farm you find after escaping the prison to feed all of the animals at least once. This achievement is called the Shepherd.
All right.
So,
I'm going to say that the real one is the farm one. And the reason I'm going to say that is we used all of the workout equipment pretty extensively at the beginning of the game, and I don't have an achievement for that, so I'm pretty sure it's the second one. Because we didn't do that, and I believe that there might be an achievement for that.
Okay. I will tell you now. Have you locked in?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Whichever one it is, you have not got the achievement for it.
Yep, I knew that.
The real achievement is the dip.
Really?
There is an NPC you have to talk to first,
Oh.
and he will tell you what the record is. You actually did 20 on the vertical bars in our playthrough.
But I didn't talk to the asshole I needed to
You didn't
first.
talk to the guy, so you didn't get the achievement.
Fuck that.
That is 1 point to Blue. Second game. In Sniper Elite 4, there is an achievement to incapacitate an enemy and then shoot them in the love spuds. This achievement is called the Nutcracker Suite. Or, is there an achievement to have a bullet go through an enemy's rear and emerge from their head? This achievement is called He's Talking Shit.
Oh my god. Both. If anyone's like seen playthroughs of these games, either could be true. The game has a bit of a sick sense of humor, so
It does.
I
One of these is real.
believe it's the first one, the Nutcracker Suite. Knock someone out and then shoot him in the balls.
Okay. That's your final answer?
Yeah.
Correct. The Nutcracker-Suite is an achievement. These sadistic motherfuckers, yes, you shoot someone till they're on the ground and then coup de grace them in the love spuds.
Yep. I think there's also an achievement for shooting Hitler in the balls.
There is. In the ball.
Yeah, fun historical fact. Apparently Hitler only had one testicle.
Although I think that's actually been proven to be a myth.
It's probably was a myth. Like they there's a lot of question. But it was put out by the Soviets, so that always makes it questionable.
Although also, I mean, you gotta admit, I did have a lot of fun coming up with these not real achievements.
Yeah, no,
and honestly, I think that could have been an achievement.
I mean,
quite
both
easily.
of them that you've given so far that were fake were believable.
Okay. Game number 3. Do-do-do-do. In Dyson Sphere Program, there is a achievement to deplete a single planet of all its resources. The achievement is called the Great Devourer. Or, is there an achievement for landing on a planet outside of your initial planetary system before unlocking the warp drive? This achievement is called Before Our Time.
Oh man.
So,
Both of these
some flavor while Kaiser thinks. These achievements were actually added after we played the game. So, we have not unlocked any of these achievements. These are a recent thing that were added.
I am going to say the second one. The one going to another planet before you unlock the warp drive, because that's the kind of psychotic thing these types of simulation games tend to put in as achievements.
Do you think that's more psychotic than
Depleting an entire
planet of its resources?
I mean, I've almost done that in that game.
That takes a lot longer than just flying to a planet.
Maybe, but I'm still gonna go with it.
Okay. So final answer's locked in.
Yep.
You're correct!
Yes.
There are some really fucking horrible achievements on there. There's also some fun ones. There was one I saw, it was complete the game without deconstructing your initial drop pod.
Did I do that? I think I did that. I did the clear
Everyone
space.
did that because I think it's how you get the initial resources, but I guess you could just
manually mine them and then go from there, yeah.
But part of the tutorial, I believe, is to break it.
Yeah, at least the first time you go through.
Game number 4. In For the King,
Hmm.
there is an achievement for being killed by a suicidal enemy. The achievement is called Boom Goes the Dynamite. Or, there is an achievement for slaying an overweight bear who is stuck in a cave. Don't laugh. You're making me laugh. The achievement is called Now, Where's Piglet?
Oh my god, I want that second one to be true so bad. I want that second one to be true so bad. You know what? Logic to the wind. I'm choosing the second one because I want that to be real.
Okay, you think the Winnie the Pooh reference?
Yes.
Okay. That is incorrect,
Damn
I'm
it.
afraid.
That was a good
Yes.
one. I liked
My
that one.
brilliant mind came up with that.
Now where's Piglet? I want that to be real so bad.
Any of the Winnie the Pooh fans out there, I'm sorry. It was just too good to resist. Okay, it's 2-2. Moving on to the 5th game. In Fall Guys, there is an achievement for causing the death of 50 other players by grabbing them so they fall off the map. The achievement is called Ain't I a Sucker?
Okay.
Or, there is an achievement for hugging another Fall Guy. The achievement is called Fall Bay.
Hugging.
Bay.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but hugging.
Guess like grab? Is hug?
Probably, yeah, maybe just hold him for a long period of time. First one.
You think the first one's real?
Yeah.
You sure?
I mean, I'm assuming it doesn't have to all be in one game.
No, it doesn't have to be in one game.
Yeah, so I'm going to say the first one.
Okay. Incorrect.
Damn it!
There are a lot of assholes who wait by the finish line to push you off right at the end, and I hate those people with a burning passion. But no, very easy achievement. Literally hugging another Fall Guy. I assume it's just literally grabbing them for a second.
Yeah, and holding him for a while. God. Thought I had that one.
3-2 to blue. 3-2 blue. Game number 6. One close to both of our hearts. In Sonic Adventure 2, there is an achievement for throwing a chow egg at a wall to hatch it faster. Called Ain't Got Time to Breed.
Okay.
Or there is an achievement for completing every level of the game with an A rank. Called You Are the Legend.
Oh.
Anyone who's played Sonic Adventure 2 must know about throwing the eggs at a wall to get the chow out.
Yeah,
I think we've all done it.
And I do think that one's probably the real one. Because I know that you do get something for beating the entire game with like the highest rank on every level. You actually unlock Green Hill Zone as a level.
Right.
And
yeah, actually, I think I've seen that. I've never got it myself. Getting A's in any mission is incredibly hard, and there are so many missions.
I got very close when I had that game as a kid, playing it on the Dreamcast. Like I got A ranks in pretty much every Sonic level. Actually, almost every level. But I had such a hard time with the space levels because the
space levels were
the controls were so shit, and it just.
The blue creatures are sometimes invulnerable, sometimes not. Anyway, which I'm
going to go with the Chow Egg one.
Okay, you think the Chow Egg is real?
I think the Chow Egg one, yep.
Okay. It's 4-2 to blue. That was another trick.
Good with these ones.
Tricksy.
By the way, can I just comment right now? So, a little bit of a background here. Blue and I, when we record these, we have our cameras on, but we don't put that footage up on YouTube. It's just so that we're talking to another face, and it helps keep the conversation. Right now, the lighting contrast is crazy, because Blue has lighting coming in from behind him, and so his face is completely, like, dark, and then there's light behind him. I have the sun shining right in my face from the side, so you can't see my eyes. My face is just this pale sheet with, like, highlights of blonde from my hair and beard.
Just looks like a clown, like normal.
I don't know what kind of clowns you've seen.
Just got like a very powdery, like very white.
Oh yeah, the skin, yeah. But I've very rarely seen a clown with a full beard.
True.
Or that's a clown you don't want near your kids.
Misrepresented.
Anyway, go on. Next one.
Good. Honestly, I thought I went too comedic with that because ain't got time to breed.
Yeah, I was suspicious, but I thought
Like
that there
ain't
was
got time to bleed.
the thing that confused me was I thought there was an S rank, so I was like, why would there be achievement for all A ranks? It should be for all S ranks, but Sonic stops at A rank, doesn't it? It goes A. I think
no, it's okay.
Yeah, it does. It's A, B, C, D, and E. There was no S rank in that game.
Because A was purple, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was, but I thought for some reason because a lot of Japanese games will have an S rank above A, and I just that confused me.
Yes, indeed. What really annoys me is when games get like S and then SS and then SSS, and it's like it just completely loses the point of it. Anyway, a bit of a callback game now.
Okay.
In CS:GO, there is an achievement for killing enemies with 5 different guns in a single round. As in, your player picks up a different gun and shoots a person, picks up a different gun. The achievement is called Variety Hour.
Okay.
Or, is there an achievement for teabagging a downed enemy? The achievement is called Bagged and Tagged.
I'm going to say it's the first one.
Okay, you think Variety Hour?
I think Variety Hour, yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
I feel like I tried too hard to make it funny, and I achieved that, but I fuck up when it needs to be like a serious achievement.
No, I chose it specifically because of the content. Bagged and Tagged. I don't think CSGO had the ability to detect if you were teabagging somebody. Like,
right.
I'm thinking it's an older game, and it's not something they maybe were able to detect.
I could imagine it being in there, though.
Yeah, no, I could too, if they could do it.
So much so, with a lot of these, when I was making up ones, I had to actually check that there wasn't actually an achievement already for it.
They're both right. What is this?
Yeah. A Scott question. Can you guess what game it's going to be?
Diablo?
Nope. In 7 Days to Die.
Oh, that game, yep.
There is an achievement to get your body temperature to 0 degrees or lower and be 100% wet at the same time. This achievement is called the Polar Bear, spelled B-A-R-E, Club.
Okay.
Or, is there an achievement to get 10 consecutive headshots while on fire called Ma, I'm on Fire? Hot or cold?
This is really tricky. Because, A, I don't know if you can actually get your temperature that low in the game and live.
Yeah, you get frostbite and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, but then on the other hand, I'm gonna go with the fire one, just because I'm not sure if you can actually get that cold in the game.
Okay, but you know you can get set on fire.
I know you can get set on fire and still shoot people.
Okay. Incorrect.
Fuck. You really can get that cold.
Apparently, the way to do it is to get completely naked in a snow biome and then completely submerge yourself.
Huh.
And then the guy that said he'd done it said that the moment he got the achievement, his status was he had hypothermia level 3 or something. So yeah, it's kind of something that you do when you don't want your character to survive much longer, I guess.
Yeah. Damn, okay. So you can do it, but you just die after the achievement.
Yep. Alright, 2 games remaining.
Alright. I have the chance to tie you if I get both of these right.
Yes, but the next one is probably the hardest. Because I don't think you ever played this game. But I couldn't resist.
I'll have to win with cunning and logic.
In Payday 2, The game with over 1,000 achievements. There is an achievement for dropping Floyd the Pig on a law enforcer. The achievement is called It Takes a Pig to Kill a Pig.
Okay.
Or, is there an achievement for completing the hospital heist called No Mercy while having the mask called the 44th equipped? The achievement is called Obamacare.
Oh my god, these both could be true.
So in case you don't know, there is a mask in Payday 2 with... There are masks with all the presidents, all the recent presidents, and the ones on Mount Rushmore as well.
Okay. I'm going to go with the first one. Because it's a robbery game, I figure there's a, fuck the police aspect to it. So let's go with that one.
Okay, going with dropping Floyd the Pig on a law enforcer.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
In Big Bank, there's a giant, money bank pig held up by a crane, which you drop through a skylight, and it's filled with drill parts. And you got to aim it so that it lands on a cop. Surprisingly difficult to do. But honestly, I thought you were going to go with Obamacare so bad.
I liked that one. That one was good. That was a good fake one. But no, I figured I was gambling on it. I was gambling on it being a criminal game and stuff like that. They're going to go with the whole
the cop joke.
Yeah, exactly.
But they do have so they do take jabs at politicals. They have the Trump mask, right?
Yeah.
And then they have a mask called the God Emperor, which is Trump, but his eyes are on fire, and he's glowing and stuff.
I like how they leaned into the meme. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the final question on your trial of truth and tricks.
Yeah.
Tricks and truth. In the life and suffering of Sir Bronte, there is an achievement to help to subjugate Anizut. The achievement is called His Will Alone. Or, there is an achievement to instate Carlo Fockgraben as your new boss. The achievement is called Not Giving a Fockgraben.
Again, I really want that second one to be true.
So, as you know, in the law route,
yeah,
your boss does get put on trial.
Right, and so it's potential that Fockgraben could take over.
Do you think you could subjugate Anizut?
Well, they do rebel at one point.
What, the people?
Yeah, not the people, but the route we were going down, it looked like they could become. They were kind of working independently from the rest of the Empire Kingdom, whatever the hell we are. Yeah. And so I imagine maybe if we went down one of the other paths in the game, maybe we have enough political power to go in there and bring them to heel. I really want Not Giving a Fockgraben to be real.
This is to decide whether we draw or you lose.
I'm gonna regret this, but I'm gonna go with the sensible answer and subjugate Anizut.
So we're going with His Will Alone.
His Will Alone.
Congratulations, you've drawn.
Yes!
Holy crap. 10 questions, there we go. That was it for this week. Bam. How did you think that went?
I really liked that. That was a lot of fun for me. I also loved, because it was, the ones you made up were, there were quite a few that, I really had no idea. They sounded ridiculous, but because of some of the ridiculous things that those games will put for achievement names, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Fuck. This could be real.
I mean, what I came away from it thinking was that, honestly, these people had hired me to make their fucking achievement. His will alone is a boring fucking achievement. Not giving a Fokgraben, so much better.
How did they not know? Well, the name was translated, like, so everything in that game was translated from whatever language. The game was published. It's a foreign studio that makes it.
Yeah.
So it was translated to English. I wonder if they just didn't get the pun or didn't realize it would be a pun in English. But yeah, no, Carlo Fokgraben.
Yeah, I was like, man,
character.
If he gets that wrong, like, I'm clearly reaching for low-hanging fruit there with the Carlo Fokgraben. Like, there's no way that they would single out one character.
No.
I was like, maybe Kaiser would fall through.
So they, just for reference, for the people who haven't seen or seen our playthrough or played the Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte is the name of the game. There's a character, if you go down the legal path, you can become a judge, and one of the other judge is this fat, bearded, corrupt judge named Carlo Fokgraben. And Blue and I went into like a 10-minute giggling fit every time we saw. Like the first time you got introduced, Blue was like, he's like, "My name is Carlo Fokgraben," and I just started laughing. I couldn't help it, and that killed Blue. He started laughing, and so just we were a mess for the next 5 minutes trying to read through the scene. Oh my god. So yeah, that would be hilarious if that guy, if you could actually... I kind of wish that... I wonder if you can install him as a judge. Or as
maybe,
a lead judge.
I don't know. They wouldn't have made it an achievement because he's not a big character, but...
Yeah.
Ooh, shit. I was thinking, next time we do this, if we do it again... Also, sorry, I'm really close to the mic now. Is we could do... So this time it was achievements, the theme.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could do quotes. Might be a good idea.
What was
things that people actually said, and then things that we say that they said.
Oh, quotes. Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, what was... Oh, God. There was a quote the other day that I was thinking of. There's quite a few good, like, really good, like, memorable quotes out there that I really like. Here's one just off the top of my head.
Infinity and beyond.
Yeah, fucking Buzz Lightyear. No, there's a book series because we're filling time now because we got a little bit before it's time to end the podcast, and I figure good time to just chat. Thinking of some quotes I'd like. This is one that I wouldn't use because you wouldn't know the quote, but it's from one of my favorite fantasy book series, which is still unfinished. I don't know what is with me in starting series that aren't finished yet. And then just they never do. But the second book in the series is called A Wise Man's Fear. The book series is called King Killer Chronicles, and then the first one is called The Name of the Wind. The second one's A Wise Man's Fear.
King Killer Chronicles, also known as KKK.
God damn it! That is an unfortunate abbreviation. Wait, no. Chronicles starts with a C.
I know, but I was fucking...
I can't spell, apparently. Well, I know I can't spell. Anyway, the title of the book is actually this quote. So the quote is, "There are three things all wise men fear. The road on a moonless night, the sea in a storm, and the anger of a gentle man." And, like, the idea being is, like, the first one is very obvious. A moonless night back in the day when you're traveling on a rural road, that's when you're going to get jumped, bandits and whatnot. Yeah. The sea in a storm, obviously. You could get shipwrecked, have your ship, flipped or overturned, get lost at sea, all that fun stuff. And then the last one was a commentary on the fact that, like, there are people who are just perfectly calm and gentle, and they're nicest people in the world, but they're the people that you never want to push too far, because they're usually, if somebody is kind and gentle, if you push them far enough, they're the people that explode and just go off. Like, the story of the Killdozer guy in the U.S., right? Do you not know this story?
I can't remember.
All right, there was this guy lived out in kind of rural U.S. He owned a bike repair shop, like motorbike repair shop, and there was some land that he owned that was near his shop that this company wanted to buy and develop, and there were some negotiations that were going on, and the deal fell apart, and the company backed out, and to try and force him to sell, They bought the land all around his shop, lobbied the city to get it rezoned. And they cut off his water because they redirected it on their land, and so it couldn't get to him. So he didn't have water, didn't have sewage. They redid the road so people couldn't really get to his house or get to his shop. And he did all this stuff. He lobbied and he did petitions to the town and everything. But this big company was just basically using money to essentially make sure that nothing happened with him. And by all accounts, the guy was very kind dude, very religious person who took care of his family, did a bunch of charity work. By all accounts was never a violent person, nothing like that. And when all of this failed and he lost all of this stuff, he just finally was like, he just had enough. So he even offered to make a new road himself. So he had like a bulldozer and all the equipment necessary to make the road properly. He had the training for it. He could do it. He offered to do it for free for the town, just as long as they allowed him to continue doing his business there, and they refused. So what he did instead was he turned this bulldozer into just a mobile fortress, like concrete, and steel reinforced slabs all around it, little gun ports that he could put rifles out of. He had even air guns to blow stuff off of the windows if they got clogged. And eventually so when this thing was finally finished after a year and a half, he just went on a rampage. Didn't kill a single person, but he destroyed every business that was owned by the company and the people that were screwing him over. He destroyed a bunch of properties that were owned by the town council people who basically were just taking kickbacks and refusing to hear his case.
How the cops not instantly catch up? A bulldozer doesn't move fast, especially when it's got cement weighing it down.
They did catch him. They climbed on top of it. They shot at it. They used small arms fire. They got bigger rifles and stuff. But he had reinforced the thing to such a degree they could not get inside. They even threw a flashbang grenade down the exhaust pipe of the bulldozer from on top of it, and it did nothing. The only way they finally caught it because he got it stuck in in a ditch.
Couldn't they have just covered the exhaust pipe?
That might have worked. They didn't. But it was also very dangerous to get on top of the thing because he was going through buildings and rubble was coming down and stuff like that. So it was risking the officers' lives if they were actually going to be on top of the thing.
I'm just imagining a bunch of officers lined up with flashbang grenades, taking in turns to
just toss it down the pipe.
a flashbang this thing.
Yeah, so they tried everything they could, and they didn't. He ended up, getting stuck himself. But that kind of goes back to that same sort of mantra. This was just, he was an honest dude, by all accounts, a very good person, and just through a bunch of unfortunate events and corrupt people, he got pushed way too far. Obviously, there's, you don't advocate for that sort of thing. No matter how far people push you, you can't resort to that kind of destruction.
That's like a mentally ill person, though, being subjected to torturous things, and then people wonder why he goes and deals back some.
It's not a good thing what he did, but it's also not at all surprising.
It's not his fault, I would say.
He was pushed past the breaking point. And even then, and this is the thing that's crazy, even though he had rifles and stuff sticking out of the tank, which he just used to do more property damage, not a single person died in the entire thing. The only person that died was him.
Actually. Oh, did he die?
He died because the inside of it was stuck. The inside of the thing he was sealed into was filling with smoke and running out of air. And when they were trying to pry him out, he shot himself. And so, but it's a crazy story. Look up some of the videos for it. Just look up Killdozer and you'll find it. It was a big story here in the U.S. back when it happened. I want to say it was probably 20 years ago now. But yeah, no. Just but that's one of the things I think of when I think of that quote is
Yeah, no, I was thinking more SpongeBob quotes, to be honest. But that can. Like,
Well, I don't know any from SpongeBob, and hopefully I never will.
But I meant like that kind of level of.
Yeah, I wouldn't use a quote like that, but when we're talking about quotes, that's one of my favorite ones from a book. Oh man,
I'm sure you'd revel in finding some Caesar quotes or
Caesar, or maybe something from it'd probably be something from antiquity or from the Renaissance that I'd pick.
I came, I saw, I conquered.
Yeah, Vini Vici.
Vini Vidi Vici.
Vidi Vici. I don't speak Latin.
In fact, it's Veni Vidi Vici, I think. I only know it because of the song.
Yeah. Or the other classic one, cry havoc and loose the dogs of war.
And let loose the dogs of war. I still don't know who said that, but I know that quote.
I'm pretty sure it's another Roman quote.
And then obviously the one that we keep coming back to, and we still don't know who said it. What was it? Oh, I forgot what it was now. I think it's the Charge of the Light Brigade that says it, and it's Unto the Breach.
Oh, once more into the breach.
Once more onto the breach.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And we were like, is that a Charge of the Light Brigade thing, or is that Warhammer?
I do think, yeah. Probably, it sounds like something that could be from Warhammer, but I imagine even a lot of the quotes and things they have in the Warhammer stuff, they take from modern day or history. I mean, the whole aesthetic of Warhammer, like, leans heavily on, like, Gothic kind of European styles.
Gothic Armada is a branch of Warhammer.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Space Marines have very Roman aspects to them.
They do.
The laurels and the...
Well, they're called the Legionaries Astartes, which the legions that was the Roman military. Oh, man. Okay, we're getting off on that. We can actually go on this for quite a while, but we should probably end the podcast. Oh, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed this new segment that Blue's invented for us, and maybe we'll come back to this again sometime soon. But for now, this is going to be the end of episode 61 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and hopefully you'll tune in again next week.
For the Emperor!